A gute Voch, Rabbi Isai. A gute Voch. A gute Voch, Rabbi Isai. Lilui Nishmat Simi Mirosi Rusbas Mordechai. Sponsored by Ira Greenstein, Lilui Nishmat, Uncle Charlie, Rabbi Yechiel ben R Tzvi Hirsch, Zeichet Tzadik Levrocha on his yahrzeit, Chov Beis Adar. Rabbi Charles Friedman was a principal of Central Brooklyn for many years and was my Gemorah teacher before Rav Eli. Oh, maybe you put up the wrong. Hold on. This is twice, so that one here. This one I'm going to read. By Yehuda Weinman. I guess this is Ilu Nishmas, right? Rabbi Yosef ben Avrahom. Okay, so that comes off, this comes on. By Dr. J Schamroth. Rabbi Eli, a big round of applause. He's in the house here. Baruch Roifei Cholim. A very close call. As he went into the hospital, he asked for his Gemorah. Then he had an emergency surgery, and he's with his Gemorah. And now he is with us. How long? It's only 2 weeks. 3-4 weeks already. And he's sponsoring tonight's cheerleading Nishmas Gnesha, Bas Moshe Leyb, Neshama, and the Neshamas of all these should have an Aliyah. We have a very exciting daf today. A bunch of halacha. You know, Yomi Pesachim is mamish halacha l'maisa, Pesach night, in general Shabbosim. But before that, let's do a couple of emails here. I heard you say today in Shir that you grew up that you couldn't drink anything before Havdalah, not even water. But it sounds like from the Shulchan Aruch that you could drink water before Havdalah. I had a similar question. I did some research into the law with a few friends. The Shulchan Aruch writes in Siman Reish Tzadik Tes that one can drink water before Havdalah. However, the Ramah brings in Siman Reish Tzadik Aleph Siv Beis based on a medrash, and we're going to discuss that medrash today. So Yishkoch for the email. I got another email similar to that. Regarding the question that was raised, another email. That was from, did I say who it was? From Moshe Rifkin. Yishkoch Moshe Rifkin. This is from Yossi Statman from Baltimore, Maryland. And he writes, regarding the question that was raised on Thursday's daf, about using a light bulb for Havdalah, about 50 years ago, my close friend, the Chavrusa, Chaim Margolis told me that his grandfather, still alive at the time, had related the following incident to him. As a bacher learning in Vardok, he had traveled to Rad and spent Shabbos in the yeshiva there with the Chofetz Chaim. After Shabbos, the Bachrim could not find candles with which to make Havdalah. They went to the Chofetz Chaim and asked him what they should do. He pointed to an incandescent light bulb and paskined for them that they should use that for their ner. I hope that this casts some light on the subject. Kol Tov, Yossi Statman, Baltimore, Maryland. And finally, one more. It's Motzei Shabbos, B'siyata D'Shmaya, Sholem. My name is Yochanan. And I have been learning with you for a few months now. I've been learning daf for a few years, but now I have an easier way to learn the daf. I teach Torah to hundreds of thousands in Spanish daily. Tanakh, Emunah in Spanish. It's called Punto Breslev. I'm bringing back lost Jews from the Inquisition, Anusim, anti-missionary work, etc. I learn from you, not just the daf, but the attitude you have in teaching. It does give me more confidence in my Torah teaching. Thank you. Yochanan, Punto Breslev. Vehatzlacha Yochanan. We are holding today daf Kuf Hey. I asked my guest today, and I asked my wife, it's great to see you. What su'uda usually comes out a better meal? Friday night or Shabbos morning? What's the one with the better food, the more geschmack? How is it usually? No, by you? Friday night, right? Friday night. Suvi. So we're going to see that it's very problematic. So I mean, the thing is that Friday night, the food is still fresh. It's geschmack. There's no kiddush. So let's see. And that and many other interesting halachas, today's daf. Says the Gemorah, daf Kufay Amud Aleph, 4 lines down. Rav Chananya bar Shlemya v'talmidei de Rav. The talmidim of Rav. Anybody remember? There's more talmidim of Rav. We had like 2 daf ago. Where was it over here? Maybe daf Kuf Beis. Kuf Amud Aleph. Talmidei de Rav. Different ones. No. It wasn't that Kuf Amud Aleph. It's on the bottom somewhere. bottom of, which one? It's Amud Aleph somewhere. Oh, Kuf Gimel Amud Aleph. Okay, anyway. Over here also, it's another shamish. Rav Amnuna Saba was their waiter. Imagine, not one of these oisvarvs. These are gdoilim. Amrlei zil chazi imigdash yoyma. They tell the waiter, go see if it's already. No, we're talking about Friday afternoon. By the way, Mazel Tov. Today? 70 years old. It's huge. We have a lot of simchas in the house. Oh, really? Sorry. To you. Mazel Tov. Happy birthday to... What's his name? Mazel Tov. Many, many more. Bis 130. Amrlei, I just made that up. Amrlei, Zil Chazi, Migdash Yoyma. So it's Friday afternoon, they're having a big meal. Interesting. What? Eating a whole meal? Okay. We need to see if it's dark. Nafsig v'nigbal shabso. If it's in fact dark, what are we going to do? We're going to do one of these. We had a machlokes. Do you continue the meal? Or do you pyrus mappa? Or do you have to get rid of the table? We're going to do a real hard stop. We're going to stop like Rebuta. We don't pass like this, right? We pass like this. You keep on going. So, Omar Lahu, Rav Amnuna, the waiter. It's not some waiter. Lo tzrichitu. What are you talking about? You don't know the halacha? You don't need to stop. Shabso kova nafsho. When Shabbos comes in, it knows how to take care of itself. It's going to become Shabbos. So what do? You'll do paris mappa, whatever, but you don't have to do a hard stop. You don't have to take the table out. You could just maybe... What happened? What happened? Why is that? Why are we losing camera? It's something that happened, like somebody touched something, or?
Yeah, since that bird came.
It's not a joke. Since the pigeon last month's Shabbos, we're having issues. Okay. So how does he know that Shabbos does it by itself? The Omar Rav, Kishem Shah Shabbos Kuivas Lamaiser. So this is an interesting halacha. If you have grain, fruit, is chayiv b'maiser, right? So just show the thing. We're not going to go through it, obviously. Every time you have produce, you have to take trumas and maisers. You want to look and see the amounts, you could look on your own. We went through this 1,000 times. 1,001 is good. So the halacha is if it's not, what's the word? No, what's the word, Menachem? It's not finished. It didn't come to your house. You didn't. But there's a word. Okay, it'll come to me soon. It's not nigmar pri. Then you could eat from it. You can nash from it temporarily. You could do a chilas arai. Not ripe. Miruach hakri, whatever. You didn't finish it. It's not a gemar malacha. So Shabbos, since even a nash is considered oineg, it's considered a meal. So when it comes to Shabbos, Shabbos is keveya, makes it also for you to eat achilas ara. You can't eat a little bit. You could only eat if you took meiser. Whereas during the week, since you don't have this inyan of eineg, you can take a little bit, you can nibble from it. You can't have a kviyas suda, you can have a whole suda, but a little bit you could. So if Shabbos makes this food asur, kach Shabbos kevas lekiddush. So Shabbos also says, hey, I'm here, I came in, I don't need your permission to become Shabbos. I am Shabbos. Whatever the clock is, whenever Shki is, boom, I become Shabbos. And now you can't eat without Kiddush. You have to make Kiddush. And now we'll see. That's halacha. You cannot taste food until you make Kiddush. So another thing. Interesting. Now, if Shabbos determines that you can't eat, because you didn't make Kiddush, so what about Matzah Shabbos? I don't know, you're in the middle of Shalosh Shudas, you're doing this long Shalosh Shudas, all of a sudden it's night. You're not allowed to eat before Havdalah. And now it's before Havdalah. So what if you're in the middle of a meal? Maybe you should stop. You should stop the meal, bench, and then continue later or whatever. Do Havdalah. Amalu Rav Amram Hachi Amarav. This is what Rav said. Likiddush koivas. The night is koveh for kiddush, and you cannot eat before kiddush, so you have to stop and make kiddush. V'loi lahavdala koivas. Interesting, the Rishbam says over here, it doesn't work for havdalah. Why? As we're going to see the svara soon, it's better to continue Shabbos as long as you can, and that is the covet for Shabbos. Shabbos is happy with you making a long shalosh shulas going into the night, and doesn't want you to stop, so to speak. And therefore, you don't make havdalah, you just continue eating. You don't have to stop, you're in the middle of shalosh shulas, you don't stop. But you don't start a meal. So here's a question la halacha. What about if somebody didn't eat shalosh shulas and it's already shkia? It says atchulei loy matchelinon. You're not allowed to start eating a meal after shkia. So what do? So the Mishnah Berurah says that you could start shalosh shulas up until a half hour before tzeis hakechavim. However, the Chazon Ish argues, and the Chazon Ish says that it's up until shkia. If you miss shkia, you cannot start shalosh shulas according to Chazon Ish. Obviously, the Chassidim don't hold by that. Some of them even start, I think, on purpose, like after shkia. Rabbi Yashiv says that the Mishnah Berurah must have been speaking about when he was in Europe. And over there, the difference between shkia and tzeis is much greater than Eretz Yisrael, and that half hour does not apply in Eretz Yisrael regardless. That's what Rabbi Yashiv says. No, Rabbi Tam shkia. You go, yeah, you mean over here? I don't know how it goes in America. Okay, so that's that. Just know that it's slightly problematic to start shalosh shulas after shkia. Okay. When I say they shouldn't, you have to stop or not stop. That's regarding food. This loy is counterintuitive. Loy over here means you cannot drink. Drinking is not a kviyas suda. It's not part of your meal. So if you're in the middle of a meal, and we had that svara that eating is a covet for Shabbos, that's because it's a kviyas suda, it's beautiful. Shabbos is very proud of you. You're sitting there with your challah and your fish and your meat. You're giving covet to Shabbos. But drinking water, that's not a covet Shabbos. So you must stop drinking according to this Gemorah when it's nighttime. What kind of drink am I talking about? Wine and beer. There's no problem to drink water after Shkia close to Motzei Shabbos. Oh, so that's where the Shulchan Aruch gets it from. There's no problem to drink water after Shkia before you come home from Ma'ariv and you want to drink. There's no problem. Let's keep on going. Upliga the Ravuna, and they're mechulak on Ravuna. The Ravuna chazila ugaver the shasa mai koydem avdallah. Ravuna noticed a person drinking water before avdallah. Amar le mistevei mar maskara. Askara was the worst disease in those days. Basically, it chokes a person to death. I don't know what it's called in English. It's bad. It's the restriction of the windpipe. It's like it's suffocating to death. All the Gemorahs talk about how terrible askara is askara. So he says, you that are going to be drinking before Avdallah, you should know it's punishable by the worst of the worst, by askara. Rabbanon debei Ravashi lo kapde amaya. They say that this brisa that says that you get askara is not even talking about water. Water is not an issue. It comes to Shulchan Aruch and says water is not an issue. So what was Rabbi Rifkin talking about in his email? So if you look at Taisus over here, the center Taisus. You go Taisus v'animili the achlu shasum ikara, and then you go 4 lines down. V'gam Rabbeinu Tam kos. Rabbeinu Meshulam. Rabbeinu Tam was the greatest about Taisus. He's mad at Rabbeinu Meshulam. Got mad at him. Shehinig lechol bei mincha l'mayrev, to eat between mincha and mayrev. Da'amar b'midrash. Listen to this. This is crazy. I don't understand it so well. Hashoisem mayim b'Shabbos bein hashmoshes. If you drink water bein hashmoshes, between mincha and mayrev, sort of, goizel is kroivav hamesim. You're robbing the dead, because the dead, they drink. That's when they let them drink. Seems like that. I don't know if it's people in Gehenna. They go to drink. What in the world does that mean? I have no idea. Don't claim to understand it. They go drink, and by you drinking, they're going to tell you the relatives, your relative just took. No, I looked it up. That's what the Achronim are saying. That's who's saying what? You have another pshat there?
No, I'm just saying like that's not what this says. You're just saying that.
Geisel's Amazing, right? No, but that's how they explain it. That's how the Achronim explain. I don't, because I don't understand. I looked up to see that's the only thing I was able to find. I think Rifkin brought in his email something also. Let's see what he writes. Let's see if I can find it here. What did he write here? Because this is when the neshamas that left Gehenim for Shabbos go back to Gehenim, and it's like stealing water from them. I heard from a Pesach, this includes seltzer as well. Yeah, because it says that they brought in the back of the Masifta, he had a shot like that. Straight from a river, it's only water straight from a river. Okay. No. Taisus, yeah, just Taisus. That's why. Okay, I'm not so mad at my father for not allowing me all those years to drink before Havdalah. He didn't make it up. My father doesn't make stuff up. But I'm saying people shouldn't. La halacha is brought down. No problem to drink. He doesn't even bring. Doesn't even bring this.
Taisus is talking about the people who Time
yeah.
to say Shabbos, not 2 hours later.
Could be. Yeah. Okay.
There's an Indian drinking hot water.
I'm saying in the Mishnah itself, I don't think the Dishra didn't either bring any kind of remes to this. Fine. Now, there's another important Taisus that I want to look inside with everyone here. Last Taisus, Likabde Amaya. Says Taisus, okay, that Bryce that talks about death with Asker is not talking about water. Now listen to this. This is a big yahrzeit in life. Why does a person get Asker? Mida keneged Mida. Who must be a groinai? A person quenched his thirst with his throat. Yechanek. His death penalty is chanika. Vasker b'mokim chenek. Kedamir mishis chayv chenek. Oy tevei benar. Oy meis b'sroinchi. V'hainu asker. Like we had that Gemorah. You see a person that drowns, you probably had to have chenek. Person that gets hit by a car is this. That every misa that people have is based on an avera or something that they did in their life. So we should remember that. No, it's not croup. They call it, I forgot what they call it. Show here, what does the art school say? Yeah, diphtheria. Yeah. That's what I wanted to say. It was on the tip of my tongue. I just. A person didn't make Kiddush Friday night. It happens, yeah. You go to the hospital, whatever. It happened already before. You go, you miss Kiddush Friday night. Erev Shabbos. Maushi Kaddish v'hoylech kol hayom kulei. If you think about it, when do we make Kiddush? We only make Kiddush Friday night. Shabbos morning, we don't make Kiddush. We call it Kiddush. You want to hear Kiddush? What do? Boy Priyagofen. That's not Kiddush. Kiddush is the whole nusach. Baruch Hashem mikadish Shabbos. It's Kiddush. You're making a bracha about Kiddush. To say Al Ken Berach Yom Shabbos Gatsheo and say Baruch Hashem Boy Priyagofen is not Kiddush. So what if you missed the whole nusach of Kiddush on Friday night? Could you make it up Shabbos morning? Omalei. Gary, maybe turn on the air conditioner, no? It's a little hot in there. Open. Turn on the air, it's better. We have a system. We might as well turn on the air conditioner, Gary.
I'll turn on what the setup.
No, just I think you should turn it on. It's unbelievable. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Mishalai Kiddush B'Erev Shabbos, Maushi Kaddish Voilach. I'm schwitzing. Mama's schwitzing bullets here. He's like, I had surgery, and since then my whole thing's messed up. Everybody should have 106 degrees in here. Okay, fine. You're 100% right. Mishalai Kiddush B'Erev Shabbos, Maushi Kaddish Voilach. I'm the one saying the shir here. I'm Mama's schwitzing.
Get him a towel. Get him a towel.
I understand you want heat or cool. Eli, give me a minute.
What's Menachem? What's the temperature in here? Seriously. What is it? It's pretty warm. Everybody's saying it's pretty warm. He's wearing 3 coats and he's still there. Okay.
Maybe we need to get a thermostat.
Buy him that long underwear stuff, ski gear, whatever, gloves, the whole thing. Zog the Gemorah, Mishaloi Kiddush B'Erev Shabbos, Maushi.
Open your towel.
What's the anti-white branded version?
Take off my jacket, everything. It's 21. 22 and a half. That's why I got him to be on it. How much is it really, Menachem? It's 22 and a half. I knew it. There's a reason. Unbelievable. All right, next. You guys watching on Zoom, you have no idea what's going on here. It's mamish boiling hot. There's a fight every single day. And you know what he did? There's a thermostat. So he disconnected the thermostat so nobody can know how hot it is for real. He says, no, it's very cold in here. You hear this? If a person doesn't do Havdalah, up until when could he do Havdalah? Tuesday. What does the Gemorah say over here? Kol HaShabbos Kuloi. What does Kol HaShabbos Kuloi mean? The entire week. But if you look in Rashbam, he says until Tuesday night. He says Wednesday, which means Tuesday night. And that's based on the Gemorah and tomorrow's Daf. Hachanami. So if a person can make up Havdalah throughout the week, Hachanami, Mishalei Kiddush Be'erev Shabbos, Mekadosh Vayelach, Kol HaYom Kula. You don't have the whole week, obviously. You have the whole Shabbos. You can make it up tomorrow on Shabbos itself. Eisvei. Leili Shabbos v'leili Yontov. Yesh b'hem Gedusha ala kois. I think he turned on the heat. I'm not joking. I feel heat. Does anybody else feel heat? He's laughing. Look at him. He's mamish smiling.
It's freezing in here.
Are you really? And you didn't even have surgery. Leili Shabbos v'leili Yontov yesh b'hem Gedusha ala kois. So we have a Shiloh. Leile Shabbos for Leile. Every Motzei Shabbos is like a gelechter here. We got to get somebody to take over Motzei Shabbos. Leile Shabbos for Leile Yontav yesh b'hem kedusha ala kois. Right. So we do kiddush on a cup of wine. V'yesh b'hem haskara bebirkas hamazon. No, Rabbi say seriously. Let's get into it. We'll be hot. We'll suffer. No, I'm also. It's fine. It's okay. Okay. I see the Olam sees it. I hear them all laughing. What else? Pretty soon he's going to give me horns.
I'm not doing anything.
All right. We can start the shir now. If a guy... Yeah, exactly. Good to Voch, Rabbi. Friday night, we make Kiddush. What else do we do Friday night? In Birkas Hamazon, we say Ritzei. Yantiv, we make Kiddush, Yantiv night. What else do we do on Yantiv? We don't say Ritzei, we do Yal V'Yavoy. What about the daytime? Shabbos Yantiv Ein Beim Gedusha Ala Kois V'yesh B'im HaSkor B'Birkas Hamazon. However, in the day of Yantiv and Shabbos, there's no Kiddush. Yes, we make Bari Priyagov, that's not Kiddush. But Birkas Hamazon remains the same. Ritzei in Birkas Hamazon, Yal V'Yavoy in Birkas Hamazon. But if you tell me there's a possibility to make Kiddush on Shabbos day, if a guy forgets to make Kiddush on Friday night, here, I have a situation, a case, where somebody forgot, he had to run to the hospital with his wife to give birth, and then he forgot Kiddush, he didn't make Kiddush, and, right? I told you the mice already. We'll just say it anyways for the new guy. My sister-in-law was in the hospital Friday night. I just said it recently, maybe in Brochas, maybe not. She was in the hospital Friday night, and my shver was there. He ran to the hospital with them to make Kiddush, the whole thing. And the problem was that I forgot what it was. Let's say the wine was in the refrigerator, and they couldn't get to the wine. It was not Shabbos. So they called the nurse. They say, we have to do Kiddush. Fine. So she opens the nurse. So my shver makes Kiddush. After Kiddush is over, the nurse says, wow, what a beautiful Kiddush. I haven't heard Kiddush from my father already 10 years. Okay, anyway. So, Kiddush you only do Friday night. But here's a case that you can do Kiddush Shabbos morning also, if you forgot to make Kiddush Friday night. The Bryce is not going into situations where a person did the wrong thing. He didn't make Kiddush, he was a Pesheya, or something happened to him, the two cases that a person was, we're talking about a normal case, the Eloi Katani. Fine. Eisvei, another question. And here goes the sugya that we start off the shir, what's more important, the meal on Friday night, the meal on Shabbos afternoon? Eisvei, kvoid yoim ukvoid laila. Kvoid yoim koidem. A guy has enough wine for Kiddush, that's not the question. But he has a little extra. When should he enjoy himself? When should he pull out the good stuff? The whiskey, the treats, the megadim, the good stuff. When does he pull it out? Does he do that on Friday night? Or should he leave it for Shabbos morning? So it says, Kavod Yomi Kavod Laila, Kavod Yom Kaidem. You pull out the good stuff in the morning. But when it comes to Kiddush, Oimer Olav, Kiddush, returning to Daf, Kuf Hey Amud Beis, Kiddush Hayoim. Now this is also tricky. Kiddush Hayoim does not mean the Kiddush of the day. It means Kiddush of Shabbos, meaning Friday night. Okay, don't get confused there. So if you only have one cup for Kiddush, what do? Kiddush of Friday night. Why Kiddush of Friday night? Kiddush of Friday night is a deraisa. To say Brocha on Bari is the Rabban. Of course, Kiddush Hayoim. Mepnei she Kiddush Hayoim. Whatever the girsa here is. V'misa lishbekei ad lemochar v'le'eved beitarti. So the Gemorah says, but at the end of the day, what's the problem? If you're allowed to do Kiddush on Shabbos morning, then what's the problem? Let him just do Kiddush Shabbos morning for both. Friday night, have in mind Friday night, do Shabbos morning, you'll be yahrzeit both. We just turned to Daf Amud Beis, sponsored by Eli Dykman, Brocha vehatzlacha for all the MDY team in their everyday lives, for all the hard avodas hakodesh they do, and sponsored for Refuah Shleima for all Chol Yisrael, especially from our MDY family. Please consider joining the MDY Tehillim group, tehillim.8mindaf.com. All right. So, before we get to the teretz, the Gemorah says that there was a family that was uprooted, destroyed completely. And one of the pshatim in the Gemorah over there is because they gave more kavod to the Friday night meal than the Shabbos day meal. As I state in the Gemorah. Fine. So, you should just know that I don't know what to do exactly. I asked my wife. She said, no, it's almost equal, but the food is fresher. At the end of the day, there should be more food Shabbos morning than Friday night. Now, another thing is that it says in halacha that you should rush home to do the meal Friday night. And I used to give a synopsis shir on Friday night after Shul in Ma'ariv. Just the Mishnah Berurah thing, the Mishnah Berurah, the 7 daf of Mishnah Berurah of that week, I used to do a sikum for the oil. And we have a Rav here. He's not the Rav of the Shul, he's a Chosh of a person I always speak about, Rabbi Pesach. And he made a macha, he said he's supposed to rush home to eat. So at the end of the day, we made up shara. We said whoever wants to come to shir has to have a signed document from his wife that she agrees that we're going to do a shir and it's only 8 minutes, blah, blah. I told him we schmooze outside anyways forever.
That was the original dream test.
That was the original agreement. Yeah, so you had to have only one person actually signed it. Like Chavrusa, you did you? Fine. But I saw the Chofetz Chaim, when he had poor people that ate by him, the Chofetz Chaim would skip Shalom Aleichem and Eishes Chayil. Unbelievable. He goes straight to the meal. He held that to feed the guest there's an Isra of Bal Ta'acher. You're not allowed to pay, you owe him tzedakah, you're paying him too late. You have to do it immediately. That's what he said. Not L'Sachsa. There's no food on the table, whatever. So anyways, I thought it was an amazing thing. Chofetz Chaim would skip Shalom Aleichem and Eishes Chayil to feed, well, not every guest, not if you invite your next door neighbor, but Aniyim. Okay. What?
My kids rely on that Chofetz Chaim.
Yeah. They are actually, kids are sort of like Aniyim. They're telling you. What it does say, here's another thing I need a limud schus for my father, if anybody has a thing. The Magen Avraham brings that one should not make Kiddush between the 6th hour and the 7th hour, not 6 o'clock, the 6th hour, because that's when the Mars, and it's better to go into the mazel of, what is it called, tzedek, whatever it is. So, but what? Lubavitch is very medagdik, but it says also that you should not be mitzar your little kids. I have to call my father, like, you know what tsar you caused me all those years? Like, I'm hungry. 6 o'clock. And he would walk slow to hit the 6, and then wait a whole hour, and then he'd open up a sefer and learn, and I'm like, I'm hungry. No, it's awesome. Anyway, fine. These are all the things. My childhood. Nothing happened. What?
That trumps the Baal Ta'acher, what you said?
No. So they go into it. Bal Ta'ach is the rice, so maybe according to Chazal, it's not. He was the Milam Tzchos that the Olam. he said at the end of the day, it's not really Baal Ta'achar because you're inviting him at Daita Dach, that you're going to give him food when you, okay, fine.
He doesn't know what you're 6
All right, so says the Gemorah. So at the end of the day, why can't you make Kiddush on Shabbos morning and be yahrzeit the Kiddush that you missed Friday night? Says the Gemorah, Chaviva mitzvah b'shaita. At the end of the day, you don't pass by a mitzvah. You have the mitzvah to make Kiddush Friday night, do a Kiddush Friday night. Where do we see this idea? We already had it in our Masechta. The Rashbam brings down that when it comes to Imurim, being Makriv de Imurim, you have a carbon, and out come all the parts that you put on the Mizbeach. You could wait, halachically, you could wait till the night. Yet, it trumps Shabbos. You put it on the Mizbeach on Shabbos. Why? Because Chaviva mitzvah b'shaita. It's better to do it now and be Mechal Shabbos, so to speak, than to wait till Motzei Shabbos, even though you could mamish wait patiently till Motzei Shabbos. Says the Gemorah, that's very good with the Imurim. That's how I have to explain it based on this Rashbam. It's halacha, it's mefurish in the Torah. You bring the Imurim, so you see the idea of Chaviv mitzvah. But how do you know that you say Chaviv mitzvah shaita when it comes to a bracha? Maybe you should do it tomorrow. Says the Gemorah, Votanya. Now, Rabbi Isai, I want you to play Tana for a second, if it's possible. We're going to read a brisa that we already learned before, just a few daf ago. And the Gemara is going to take these few lines and learn 8 halachas from these lines. 8 halachas, maybe even 9 if you want. Let's see how many halachas you could figure out by yourself just from these lines. Saying, we take it for granted, we just read it, Shema, we know this, Shema, we know that, Shema, we know that. Let's see you do it. Says the Gemara, Vatanya, we learned, Hanichnas the base of Mitzvah Shabbos. If you go into your house on Motzei Shabbos, in other words, you're ready daven Ma'ariv, now you're home, it's time for you to do Avdallah. Mevarach ala yayin v'ala ma'or, v'al v'habsamim. So what do? You make a bracha on wine. If you notice, it says here, ma'or, first, bar ma'reish. That's not what we really do. V'al v'habsamim, and afterwards, on b'samim. So that's one of the diyukim of the Gemara. That goes according to Beis Shammai. And then you make Avdallah. Okay. Now, what happens? This guy comes home and he only has 1 cup. 1 cup, and he wants to eat. He wants to eat Milav Malka. And what happens if you eat Milav Malka? You have to use that cup of wine to make Birkas Hamazon. But he has to make Avdallah. So what should he do? Should he make Avdallah and he's not going to have a cup of wine for Birkas Hamazon? Which most of us probably do. Okay. Or no. The Brisa says, Minicha Adar Hamazon. You tell your whole family, listen, we're not going to do Avdallah yet. We're going to eat Milav Malka. We're going to have pizza, the whole thing. And then you make all the brachas afterwards. So, that's the Taisus I mentioned when we learned it the first time. Remember the Taisus? How could you eat before Avdallah? Taisus asks. Okay, see from here that you're allowed to eat before Avdallah if you only have 1 cup of wine, and it's very, very important to use the cup of wine in Birkas Hamazon. At the end of the day, if we only come out with 1 halacha from this whole daf, it should probably be this halacha that you should be makbid on a kais of wine if you have 3 people. If you have a zimun, it's very, very important to have. I know I'm not so makbid. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. Depends on the mood. Kais yain when you have 3 people. Any meal could be in the middle of the week also. If you have 3 people eating, there's a mitzvah so strong. The mitzvah is so strong that it trumps eating before Avdallah. You don't do Avdallah, you wait. That's what you say.
Why 3 people? Why not just by yourself?
Oh, so maybe we'll see in a second. Yeah. Okay. So for that you have to look in the Shulchan Aruch. Reish Pei Beis talks about it. There are people that do it by themselves. At the end of the day, he says not to be really machmer on it. If you're talking about it, he says why if 1 person. So you have to go to the second sif over there, and he says that there's a zayir that says you should not. So those who do, they should put the cup on the table. They shouldn't hold it. They should put the cup on the table as a single person. Put the cup if you want to be. Probably don't lose that, but it seems like you really don't have to with one person. Now, why are you skipping Havdalah? Chaviv mitzvah shayta. You're passing, here's Havdalah. You have Havdalah in front of you. Just do Havdalah. No, wait for afterwards and do Birkas Hamazon. So you see, you don't see this idea of Chaviv mitzvah shayta. It's not that important. Amalei. Listen to this lashon. Unbelievable. I love this lashon, but I love it now even more after I saw Vilna Gaon. Amalei. Ano loy chakima. I'm not a chacham. Ano loy chakima ano. V'loy chazana. I'm not a navi. V'loy chidana. I'm not an individual. Elo gamrana. I learned this from my Rebbeim. V'sadrana ano. And I put it in a seder. I'm a sadr of the things. V'chein moirim bebei midrasha kivosi. And this is what they say in the Beis Medrash. That what? Shani lo ben yule yoymo lapuke yoymo. There's a big difference welcoming the Shabbos and saying goodbye to Shabbos. Unbelievable. The earlier you make Shabbos, you're showing how much you love Shabbos, so you make it earlier, it's great. You're supposed to make Shabbos, take it out as late as you can to show that it's not a burden on you. A Maisa Shahaya, I went over to Gershon Ben Moshe last week. I was like, Gershon, what is going on with you? Every Matzah Shabbos, you give me attitude. You know what he told me? I'm not making this up, seriously. Pretend he's not in the room. He said, I love Shabbos. I hate when Shabbos goes out. That's what he told me, and he was serious. Maisa Shahaya, right, Gershon? Shaking said, yeah. It's my fault. I put him in a bad mood. It's freezing in here. What's going on? It's beautiful. It's mamish, the perfect temperature. It's perfect. I'm serious. Schmack.
What kind of AC is it again?
It's the best of the best. We only do the best there. It's a Mitsubishi. Unbelievable. No, it's not a Mitsubishi. It's a Mitsubishi? No. It's Mitsubishi VRF. Boys, I want to show you a beautiful, beautiful guy in Vilna. And this is Gemorah. I know it's going to be hard. Gershon, can you jump into this, please? Thank you. I love you. Says the Gra. I'm not a Chacham. I'm not a Navi. I'm not a Yachid. But I'm a Gamran and a Sadran. Says the Vilna Gaon. This is based on, first, remember this. I don't want to scare anybody. You remember this whole machloikas here? Yakna, Yanha, Yana. You know about that.
Yosef knows about it. I have nightmares about it.
Yeah, he has nightmares. This thing, remember, and Yosef made one of these guys that goes up and down? Okay. The main part of the machlekes was, what comes first? Havdalah or Kiddush? If you look at the whole, that's the main part of the machlekes. Does the kuf come before the hay, or the hay comes before the kuf? Here. This is Rav, this is Shmuel. Shmuel says, Havdalah comes before Kiddush. Says the Vilna Gaon, unbelievable. Look at this. Rabbi Shua ben Chananya, he's called the Chacham. Because in B'chairis, it says, Chakima diudai. Rabbi Shua ben Chananya is called the smart one of the Jews. B'chairis, look it up, Daf Ches. Shmuel is a Chayzik Chavim. He was a stargazer. That's in Brochas, Daf Nun Ches Amud Beis. Rabbah is called Yachid. And Yachid had been a guy. Levi is called, he learned in front of the Chachamim, it says. And Rav, Reish Sidra the Bavel. Now look inside. It says the Gemorah, I'm not a Chacham, I'm not a Chayza, and I'm not a Yachid. I don't hold of these four shittas. 3 out of the 4 he got it, especially Shmuel, because Shmuel argues on Rav. Shmuel is this one, Yan Hak, that Havdalah comes before Kiddush. I don't know that Havdalah comes before Kiddush. That what? That Mavir al mitzvahs, that you have to go quick. They hold Havdalah comes before Kiddush, that you let Shabbos out first. No, I hold like Levi. I hold like Rav. They're called in the Gemorah Reish Sadra. Sadrana ano. Gamrana ano. Sadrana ano. I hold like Levi and Rav. Who's Rav? Here's Rav. Yakna. Rav, the Gemorah calls him a Sadrana. You hear this? It's up, it's chassidish a little bit, but it's cool. You have to know the entire shots to know that. Yeah, it's the guy. Yeah, it's a melitza. It's a yakina. The what? That kiddush comes before Havdalah. I push off. I try to have Shabbos as long as possible. Fine. Zog the Gemorah. The what? Okay. Shmamino, no? Yeah. Shmamino, mia, masniso, tamne. So from this brayser aboisai, I can learn 8 things. Number 1, Shmamino hamavdil b'tfila. What happened? This guy went to Ma'ariv. He came home after Ma'ariv, and in Ma'ariv he's supposed to do Atochen Antanu. He's supposed to be Mavdil in Shmoneh Esrei. Nevertheless, he needs to make Havdalah again. So what do you see? Hamavdil, but Tefillah, Tzarich, Sheyavdil al Hakois. We learned in Brocha, Shaila. Over here you see, you need a cup. You need to do it all over on wine. Ushmamina Brocha Tuna Kois. You also learn from here that when you do Birkas HaMazayin, you need a cup. You need wine. So over here it says Mefurish in the Gemara, you need wine. Now, if you look at Taisis Divra Maskil, Shma Mino Brocha Tuna Kais, it's the third Taisis because there's 3 Shma Minos. The third one that says Shma Mino Brocha Tuna Kais, this is what Yosef Biliag was saying. Tzas Mashma Dafilu B'Yocha Tuna Kais, and he goes into a whole discussion. Does a Yocha need a cup? Now, I just thought this was fascinating. Listen to this question. Let's say an individual needs a cup of wine. Who has the answer for this one? A Yocha needs a cup of wine. This is a Reb Gamliel in Brochas that says that you need to make a Birkas Hamazon on a pomegranate, on grapes, on dates. Shivas Aminim, you have to make a Birkas Hamazon. So if you need a cup of wine, if you're a Yachid, you have a catch-22. He eats a pomegranate, requires Birkas Hamazon. Requires Birkas Hamazon, you need to use a cup of wine. Because you're a Yachid and you have to use wine. And if you drink a cup of wine, you have to bench again. And if you bench again, you need a cup of wine. So what do? That's Taisis Kasha. You see it at the like in the middle of Taisvis. Let's say where the the lines become wide, like 6 lines down. You need to bench, full benching. But if you need a cup, says Taisis, an amazing idea. We need to know this. This whole idea of a cup only comes after you eat bread. So even according to Reb Gamliel that says you have to make Birkas Hamazon on Shivas Aminim, it doesn't apply to a cup of wine. You don't need a cup of wine. All right, Zog the Gemorah, and we're almost done here. Ushmamino koishel bracha tzarich shiur. How much do I need in there? I could do a koishel bracha. I'll do 2 ounces. How many do I have? I have 4 ounces. Divide it in half. Do Havdalah on 2 ounces, and do Birkas Hamazon on 2 ounces. What's the problem? For each one you need a full, and that's all you had is that amount. By the way, Stam Derech Hagav, not to get to anything. I think I'm starting something unless somebody writes me an email otherwise or somebody tells me tonight. What is better on Seder night? You saw my becher. My Kiddush cup is huge. I don't know, it's like 10 ounces. What's better? To drink the roiv of 10 ounces. So let's say I drink 6-7 ounces. Because it would be almost impossible for me to drink 10 ounces, 4 cups. I'm talking about Lil Seder. So what's better for me? To use my big fancy cup and only drink 3/4 of it, or to buy a little simple silver cup that's 3 ounces, or according to Chazon Ish, 5 ounces, 90 cc's or 150 cc's, so 5 ounces is 3 ounces, and drink the whole thing. The halacha is, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me, again, ask you look around, it's better to finish the entire cup. So Mela, I think that I'm going this year, I'm going to buy, nobody buy me please, the simplest, for my wife. I don't know if did they make fancy small ones? I'm going to buy it for my wife and all the kids, whatever, the 3-ounce ones. They don't have to be machmir. Lechatchila, you go with the Reb Chaim Nashir, 3 ounces, and you just take it down, unless you love wine. And for me, maybe I'll go with the 5 ounce, but I don't need a 10-ounce cup. Who needs that? But glass is not chashuv and not mechubed. We're going to go shopping and get a nice glass. And have to schlep it to America. What?
You have
Yeah, kiddush that have the insert, like not insert, it's made with a little bit of a, whatever. Okay.
I'll take one.
Ushmamino hamevarech tzorech sheyitom. So you see from over here that you must taste it. Why? If you don't have to taste the wine, so make Havdalah or Birkas Hamazon and don't taste it and put it on the side and later on do Havdalah. You can do both without tasting it. Shmamina ta'amei p'gamei. You see from over here that if you taste the wine, you ruined it. You can't use it for something else. We pass it like that, right? If you taste kiddush, you can't make another kiddush on it. Well, there's an eitzah. A lot of people know this eitzah. You take good wine, you pour it into the cup that you were paigim, that you tasted from, then you fix it, and now you can use it. If you want to put it back in the bottle or whatever, it's probably better not to. It's not the most lechatchila. It's okay. It's not the best. If you can afford it, don't do that. Ushmamina tamei p'gamei. Ushmamina ta'am mavdil. You see from here, look, this is machlokes. If a guy eats by mistake, he takes a bite out of his pizza, there's a manoma that says you can't make Havdalah tonight. You wait until tomorrow. Over here you see you can make Havdalah tonight. Ushmamino. Did anybody get all these? I'm just curious. Anybody get all 80 of these? Yeah, okay. Ushmamino oimer beis kiddushois alkois echad. Remember we had the sugya. Could you make 2 brochas on 1 cup? And the Gemorah brought this exact brisa because of that. And we said, you're not allowed to make chavilas, you're not allowed to do different mitzvahs on one thing. But they said, okay, if you don't have another cup, then it's fine. But over here you see, you could, you yahrzeit the 2 kedushas, the Birkas Hamazon and Havdalah all on one. Ushmamina beishamaihi va'aliba the Rabbi Yehuda. So let me just show you one last chart that I made tonight, special for this. This is a chazara. This is Shitas Remeir that we're not going to be discussing. But it's important to know Shitas Remeir because it's Rabbi Yehuda, not Remeir. Remeir holds that according to Beis Shammai, if you have the situation, you do Ner, Birkas Hamazon, Besamim, Havdalah. They both agree that Havdalah is at the end, and they both agree that Ner is in the beginning. And the question is Birkas Hamazon first? This situation, a guy only has 1 cup, and he wants to have Malav Malka, and he wants to do Havdalah, what should he do? Ner comes first, Birkas Hamazon, Besamim, Havdalah. Or Ner, Besamim, then Birkas Hamazon, Havdalah. We're not going according to Remeir, even though he's the anonymous. Remember, we had the sugya, I didn't have the chart. Anonymous Mishnah says this is Machlokes B'Shamim Yisrael, but the anonymous Mishnah is Rabbi Meir. When you have a Machlokes Remeir and Yehuda, who do we passing like? And that's the Gemorah said over there. I forgot who it was, Shmuel or whatever, passing like Rabbi Yehuda. Why? Because that's how we passing. Machlokes Remeir and Yehuda, we passing like Rabbi Yehuda. And Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion that there's no machlokes between Beis Shammai and Yisrael where Birkas Hamazon is. Birkas Hamazon comes first, and Havdalah comes last. And this is what we do today. That's why we make Havdalah like this. But what comes first? Bar Mareish or Besamim? Beis Hillel, and that's how we paskin. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, in Beis Hillel, the order is Birkas Hamazon, Besamim. That's what we do. Ner, Havdalah. What? Yeah. Not. It's just Hagafen, not a part of it. Hakopadim, he said, I pointed it out when we learned it. That is going not according to the halacha, according to Beis Shammai, that says Ner comes before Besamim. That's why I mentioned the brisa. First you do Ner, then Besamim, then Havdalah. Have a wonderful week. We'll see everybody tomorrow morning, Be'ezer Hashem, at 7:15. Hagafen is not one of the things. Yeah, that's yayin.
Someone wants to make a offer, right? And he has to eat. So should he say he wants to make burger muffin? So he should wait and say burger muffin. Can he say?
Oh, he has to say burger for sure. You're asking where you should say it? Yak nahaz. He should say yayin first because of tadir. I'm pretty sure. Hey, a good Voch. A good Voch, Rabbi Spiro. Where are you coming from? Oh, you were here for Shabbos? Who? Shmooze?
How many hours sleep did you get, Eli?
You faked it? Who's on here? I thought I heard Gedalia for a second. I couldn't be Gedalia. Shkoya, thank you. I like the fact that you did this. Now I can remember which one it is.
Once a week I get a night.
The night share. Sorry. Mazel tov, mazel tov. It's beautiful.
How are you? Baruch Hashem, how are you going? How is it with the COVID and all the rest?
Huh? Your father's on? I don't see your father. Yeah? Oh, here he is. Joe Schreiber, your son says hello. Josh says hello. Here. This is he misses you.
6:46.
Run home. Put it on Zoom right now. See,
The time you finish the email, we get back on time. The time you finish the email.
You see, there's a mileage to have the emails before.
I think next week we have a problem.
Yeah, next week starts the problem.
Yeah, we have to make this whole.
Because Shabbos finishes. London is 6:59 and in Manchester 6:54. I'll just let you know.
We need to get Eli to read more emails next week.